I'm just very worried that the Olam hasn't said the right Shiur Shel Yoim in the last, that means on Monday, Tuesday. Today's Hayoim Yom Revi b'Shabbos. Everybody's up, right? Hayoim Yom Revi b'Shabbos, right? No, because the Shmiras Hastarim, we asked the Olam if they could bring it in by Rosh Chodesh really, but then we said that they should bring it in by Yom Rishon. So today it's already Yom Revi, and there's still some that haven't brought it in. So if it's just, I'm very nervous that maybe some. Why are you laughing? It could be that some people are still they're holding by Yom Rishon. It says that by Hashemesh Begivon Doing that Yeshua Davin that the sun stayed still. The day was one long day. So I'm worried that some people are holding by that one long day. And does everybody get my point? Everybody gets my point? So please, in general, don't bring the Shmiras Hastarim on the day dafka that you have the test. It's two separate things. Rosh Chodesh should bring the Shmiras Hastarim, or for some people it's a Gans Yor Freilich, so tomorrow is still Rosh Chodesh from 9 days ago. So at least bring it tomorrow, but try not to bring it late. It gets very complicated to make the cheshbonis and everything. So tomorrow it should be really the last day. Really should have brought it already. Whoever didn't bring it, tomorrow's the last day. And the Maisa, in general, you bring it, Rosh Chodesh is the day you bring it. Awkward moments. Okay. If you remind me at the end, I'll say it again because not everybody's here on the computers. They also need to know. Okay. And I'm worried. I'm almost worried about the whole, Okay. I'm not really worried. Okay. Now, boys, let's start the Shiur. There's a lot what we have to discuss over here. There's a lot. So first of all, I'm very nervous from the heter of Kiddush Chaisa. I'm just very nervous. I'm very nervous the application of Kiddush Chaisa. I don't know. To apply, let's just make it practical. To apply Kiddush Chaisa in our regular ovens, it has a shayach. In our regular oven, you put in a piece of chicken. You know that the chicken could be cooked. Anything in our ovens could be cooked within 2 hours for sure. I looked into it today just to make sure. There's no shayla. Anything in our oven could be cooked within 2 hours. It depends how high you turn it on. It's not negeya. So in an oven, it's batal mevatal l'chayr the ganze heter of Kiddush Chaisa, because whatever you're going to have, it's not going to be by the time that you're saying I'm putting it in. Why would a person do it? First of all, on a Friday night, he's putting something in the oven. Most probably he's putting something in the oven anyways for the Friday night meal. So the whole thing is a joke. If he's putting it in for the Friday night meal, if you don't have the heter of Kiddush Chaisa, Kiddush Chaisa is it's not exercitive. It's a svara. It's a svara. Was he Messiach das from it, right? Like you said, Rabbi Rashbach, it's an unbelievable svara, right? Because you see, even ad kedei kach, that it's even the Rabbanan on by the time the morning comes, it's going to be mitzvah for Yafalai, so maybe in the morning he's going to stoke. But it doesn't work like that. You see, Kiddush Chaisa is a svara that he put down this raw food. He thinks, I'm out of it. I'm not involved anymore. Right? Kiddush Chaisa, this raw meat, I'm out of the whole entire situation. So how could you say on a Friday night he's putting chicken in the oven that's going to be ready for the meal and that he's out of the situation? It's a joke. It's not a gebechal. We'll see in a minute. There's lots of fun in that anyways. You can get it to a third cooked by shkia, by this, that. We'll see. It's not the worst thing. But let's say a case, the person wakes up, he has like 5 minutes till shkia or something like that. And he says, okay, I'll just throw in chicken in the oven. And by the time the meal comes, it'll be cooked. Chayr is for sure a problem. It's for sure a problem. You don't have the heter of Kiddush Chaisa. It's the chayr for sure a problem. And even though the Chazon Ish had it sad not like this, it's a Tamer Rabbah. Shlomo Zalman says, Mamsha Tamer Rabbah, and it is a Tamer Rabbah. It's a Mamsha Tamer Rabbah. So therefore, there's no question that you can't be saying. So afterward, the Aruch HaShulchan, he writes the Mamsh the same thing. He says that if the food is not going to be ready, it's not the derech of Bnei Adam it's going to be. He says, the food will be ready by the time the night comes. He's talking about, let's say, yana chicken. You put chicken, and he says, when you put the chicken on the fire, it will be ready. Not by the meal, but it'll be ready by the nighttime. It'll be ready by nighttime. So he says, okay, but it's not the derech of Bnei Adam to wait 3-4 hours for the meal. That's his lashon. Shalosh arba shoyes. It's not that. What's the obvious implication of the Aruch HaShulchan? It's pashut mefurish. It's so boring. The Aruch HaShulchan is saying, if taka would be ready within 1-2 hours, what's the exact numbers totally in the Bal Batishkeit? If your meal, you're not going to, I don't know the number of side. You're not going to wait an hour for the main course, I guess, okay? Under an hour, maybe yes, right? You're certainly not waiting 2 hours. I don't know the exact number, but the point is by chicken, it's not negeya. Certainly, you put chicken in the oven. Certainly, if you would stoke, the harai is putting it in for the night meal. So for shteitzel, there's no eights in the world. I wonder out loud if I wonder out loud, The Chazon Ish, I don't even know if the Chazon Ish would be makel in the case where we just described. The Chazon Ish is talking about that you put in something raw and you're Mesiach Das. And the Chazon Ish is saying, and even if technically it would be ready for the night meal, so still that doesn't matter. They made a light plug, maybe. Right? Would the Chazon Ish say if the person put the food in to have at the night meal? It's I'm afraid to say I was about to say the word, it's ludicrous. I say, I can say it's ludicrous. It's against the Chazon Ish. I could say it because it's not against the Chazon Ish. There's no Chazon Ish like that. The Chazon Ish is talking about that a person put in a raw food, and when the person put in a raw food, so then that's called Mesiach Das. Technically it could be ready for the meal. Okay, but he's not having it for the meal, so therefore we made a Gzeir Sakos of light plug, which the Mishnah Berurah and the Aruch HaShulchan argue on, and that is the Psak Halacha. But to say more than that is ludicrous. It's much ludicrous to say that a person can put in a raw piece of chicken for the Friday night meal, and it's going to be ready for the Friday night meal. It's pashut ludicrous. It's like no one in the world ever dreamed of saying such a statement, and therefore there's no havamin in the world that such a thing is going to be permitted. That's number one. So therefore the head of Kitchen Chaisa we just lost in the oven. Okay, we lost it in the oven. Next, so when do we have a case of, and more so, you look at the lashon of the Rabbi Lieberman pointed it out to me yesterday. Which Dibur Maskell was she in? No, there's a certain sefer. He brings down the Chazon Ish, that the Chazon Ish, b'shas chak, you can be seimach on the Chazon Ish. It's a very popular sefer also. You can be seimach on the Chazon Ish, b'shas chak. If you're in a bind and you need food for the Friday night meal, so the Chazon Ish is makel on a kid chaisa, like they made a list. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's a very strange thing. Yeah. So Mesach Naita, the lashon of the Mishnah Berurah, he says a lashon here. He says, "Afa pikein im ein darkan shel bnei Adam lahamtim besudasin kolkach." Im ein darkan shel bnei Adam lahamtim besudasin kolkach. Dahainu. What if like epis, I don't know how to learn this Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah says, he says, if it's not if you have a choymai rav tanner, like our tanner, the yachol is bashal be'ezah shoyes, says the Mishnah Berurah, if it's not the derech of people to be mamtin in their suda kolkach, then bevada is mesiach das. But everything is totally netzach das, right? It's a lashon over here. If it's not the derech of bnei adam, so first of all, it sounds like we look at the derech bnei adam. I think that was your idea. No, that's the derech of bnei adam. We look in general. What's the derech of bnei adam? So let's move over to the next methodology of cooking. You move over to the crock pot. And Maisa, Derech Agav, I had the cholent last night from the crock pot. Right? The Maisa, it wasn't so bad. I mamish bothered me. It was a pella. I thought for sure that I thought the cholapachas I'd wake up sick this morning. Something. No, mamish and what? No, still it doesn't matter. So then I thought it's not a kasha b'chal because there were blias in the pot from Shabbos, right? It's mamish not a kasha. There's blias from the Shamay Seira and whatever. So b'chal not a kasha. So that's why I'm saying it didn't take. I thought for sure I'd start eating it, and who knows what would happen, right? I gave it to my wife first. I said, "Here, you try," But everything was fine. So, anyways, you have to learn shalom bites from your old rabbis. But so tachlis, the lashon over here of the Mishnah Berurah sounds like go back to my crockpot case. You go to my crockpot case. So I told you the crockpot's a great example of this, right? Because it takes 5 hours for it to cook, and we see it's not going to get boiling hot by the time that shkia hits and whatever. So everything's great. What? No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about my case. No, my case, I was just saying that I'm okay, Baruch Hashem. But now, stop. I'm just saying, how long does it take to cook in a crock pot to make it edible? 5 hours. Everyone I talk to seems to say that if we be on high on 5 hours, then bevadai. If we be on high on 5 hours, then for sure. And if it's on low, most probably. I didn't do it. I must admit, so I can't take full responsibility for the statement. But by saying, just think about it. You're putting on the crock pot, let's say, okay, in the wintertime for sure. The summertime maybe even though, but let's say the wintertime zicher, but let's say in the summertime, you're putting on the crock pot and you're putting it on at 5 in the afternoon. Let's say in the winter, we said it would be like 4 in the afternoon or whatever you're putting it on. Or in the summertime, you're putting it on, let's say 7:30 in the afternoon, whatever it is, right? So if you're putting it on low, it's actually going to be ready probably at 11 o'clock at night. In the summer, maybe in the winter, zicher, right? But more so, is it a derech that people eat shalint at 11 o'clock at night? For sure. Definitely enough of the oil now that does. That they eat shalint. So how far do you take it? I don't know. It's true, my shalint is on low. Most people obviously are going to keep it on low. But my shalint's on low. So now we're trying to figure out if he's mesiach das from it. So now it's like a little bit complicated because he put it on raw And it's in a matzav where it's not maybe even going to get there in the summertime. In the wintertime, yeah. In the wintertime, I don't know any yet there, right? But in the summertime, where it's, it's pushing it and whatever, and you yourself. So let's say there's two different cases. One case is you yourself are a cholent eater on a Friday night. And then there's a case where you're not a cholent eater on a Friday night, but your children are. And then the third case where there's nobody who's a cholent eater on a Friday night. So, let's go like this. If the case is that you are a cholent eater on a Friday night, and you actually might eat the cholent on Friday night, assuming it'll maybe even get there. Let's say it's a winter. So then there's no shaila in the world. You can't say Mesiach Das. Elamai, Rabbi Rashba will tell me maybe it was only the first meal. That's what I'm going to say, that maybe the only time that they were ever geyser this entire thing was the first meal. I'm very nervous to say that. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous to say it. I'm just saying, it's like we're losing here the header of a crackpot. I don't, of Kedr Chaisa. I'm very scared of Kedr Chaisa. Let's put it like this. If somebody tells me, if I can get this thing to a third cooked, I'm going to prefer that heter over Kedr Chaisa. You would have thought a third is a big machlekes, third or half, right? If you could somehow get it, let's say you wake up an hour in advance, and you can get it to be a third cooked, I would much prefer you be seimich on the shitas of a third cooked. I mean, I don't know why you don't just put inside a blech, inside your crock pot, and then just get out of the whole entire shot. Just put inside a blech, throw inside the balls, put inside the silver foil, and that's what I would do. But if somebody tells me like this is, I don't know, I'm a little bit nervous now. It's dark in Shabbat Yom. You're going to have to daven over here. Maybe it's not darken of this person. It's not the darken of this person. He doesn't mean darken of people in general. He means this person is not going to come to Stoke because it's not the derech of this person. When he says darken Shabbat Yom, that means you. It's not your derech, not a normal person's derech to wait until after the meal. You're not going to wait that long for the meal, right? And then I said yesterday, you have all types of svarlas over here that maybe you'll say, Bibal Taka, he has a meal already. So what, for a snack, he's not going to stoke, right? So maybe someone will say, du verstehst nicht Cholent, or I don't know. I don't know exactly how to go on this one. The reason I'm being a little bit idle is simply because I didn't see anybody that has this aura. It's a Peldik Maisa. I mean, we're not the first people that ever learned Cholent, and it's Peldik Maisa. I'm saying, I don't know. Did I have this aura last time? What do we say? There's a problem. In V'lav Rafi Biyade, right? In V'lav Rafi Biyade. So I don't know. It's a big problem, this. I don't know. Okay, so Akapanim, in a crack pot, it's not great. Not great. This heter of Kedr Chaisa is not great. Then, Bas? Come again? Takish Bayad on the Kula. Now what? No, the case of until the year 1990, I don't know, I think it was definitely the darkest Bnei Adam to not be having cholent on a Friday night. And you see Rabbi say, you see borrow from the Shulchan Aruch that nobody cared about cholent on a Friday night, right? The reason is because nobody had. This is a new shaila. I don't have a kasha there. Moshe Feinstein didn't have this kasha or something. I'm in the kasha, right? I have a kasha that in the last 20 years, nobody really talks about the kasha. But Taka, we need to know what to do. Let's go in order. If the pshat is you actually plan on having cholent on Friday night, then l'char zikr you have to be machmir because you plan on having cholent. And the only svar you have there is that maybe for a snack, he's not going to stoke, which is a chiddush. I don't know. I'm afraid to say such a svar, right? It's a chiddush. As you start going down down the pole, so then maybe it gets a little bit better. Like let's say you for sure don't plan on stoking, and you're not having cholent on Friday night, but your children, they sometimes do. In this house, they don't, or whatever, but they're the type of people that do. Or let's say you get to a matter where you never ever do, and there's no one in this house that ever does. So then I guess it could be meko, If you don't ever, by you, it's not a azach. Mistama, you could still suit to the concept of Shulchan Aruch, the Gemara. Mistama, in that case, you could be meko. If you're the type of person that never has cholent in your house on a Friday night, late at night, it doesn't exist by you. So then Mistama, you can still have the heter of Kedr Chaisa because Saif, he's Mesiach Das, and he's not interested in eating. There's enough people out there that he can still do that. The case I'm speaking about is basically two cases. One is that you are actually going to eat cholent on a Friday night. So then you're hoping that the cholent will be ready by 11 o'clock at night. I find that very difficult to be makel in that case. And the next case is that if you're in a house that the father doesn't, but the kids, the derech is they do, but punkt on this cholent they don't. So then you're getting involved. I'm not in that case. It's also a mokum to be makel. Maybe now you can apply the chazanish. Now I could also apply the chazanish. This like plug of the chazanish that for the first meal. You're not, that's it. Maybe that's the whole part of the Chazon Ish. I don't know. Maybe the part of the Chazon Ish is meal number one, that's where the ikar chash is for meal number one, and not for meal number two. That's how I think you're saying it, Rash. Yeah, but it's not muchach to me. I don't know. I'm not so bar. Okay, that's our aura number one. That's our number one. Actually, one more aura, which is related to that aura, which is that another nekuda here is I see that the Rabbi Sion Abba Shoel, Zeichet Tzadik Leveracha, he learned the Mishnah Berurah the way I learned the Mishnah Berurah. And yesterday I was a little bit more, reluctant because the Chazon Ish was coming to say, and he's coming to say, Chazon Ish is coming to say Pshat in the Mishnah Berurah, Elaine. He's coming to say Pshat in the Mishnah Berurah. So it's a very big chiddush to say this Pshat in the Mishnah Berurah. The Lashon of the Mishnah Berurah, the Lashon of the Chazon Ish, Rabbi Rashbash pointed out to me, the Chazon Ish says, when you have to make sure that by the time it hits Shkia, that it's loy chucham, that's the Lashon we're dealing with. Says the Chazon Ish, what does it mean? That the meat won't be yatzaledis. Because once it's yatzaledis by, that's called tchilas bishul. It's an awesome chiddush. That meat, when it's boiling hot, yatzaledis by hot, I shouldn't say boiling hot. When meat is yatzaledis by hot, that's called tchilas bishul. It's an incredible chiddush. By water, we found the concept of yatzaletis by meat. We never found the concept of yatzaletis by. What's the concept when it comes to meat? Has it been softened? Has it been affected? We never saw anything else. The halacha. So it could be it's even the Chazon Ish, maybe the shitasa. There's stuff going on over here. But the Mishnah Berurah, any simple Jew that learns the Mishnah Berurah, and I saw that Rabbi Sion Abba Shaul, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, in Aleph Chav Aleph, the Chazon Ish, the Or Letzion, he says that's not the Pashup Shat in the Mishnah Berurah. He says the Pashup Shat is that once it starts cooking, so then that's it. Well, once it starts cooking, what does it mean once it starts cooking? It means once it's already, been affected. The meat has been affected somewhat. So then it's no longer Kiddush Chaisa. If the meat hasn't been affected yet, even if it's hot, the Lashon of the Mishnah Berurah sounds like that. The Mishnah Berurah says, even though it's chucham means even though she's hot, she's a hot piece of meat. She's not been affected though. She hasn't been affected yet. So if she hasn't been affected yet by the cooking process, the fact that it's hot, why should that make enough gemina in our sugya? So therefore, and this is a big kula, what I just said. That already at least brings back, it gives you more time, klape, the shaila of Kiddush Chaisa. When it comes to Kiddush Chaisa, how much time do I have? According to the Mishnah Berurah, you have a little bit more time until the meat actually gets affected. There's a Bach, Rabbi Yoel Serkis, he was the Rav in Brisk. And he over here says, you know what Kiddush Chaisa is? Kiddush Chaisa is all the way until a third cooked. Okay, all the Achrayim, mamish, they attack this. Okay, they attack it. They say, what do you mean? According to some Shitas, Michael ben Drisay is already at a third. So, it's like, it's Karavayin. The Kiddush Chaisa. Okay, so we don't hold like the Bach. That's the first in the Mishnah Berurah that we don't hold like the Bach. The Bach says once it's been affected, it's no longer Kiddush Chaisa. But Rabbi, I'm just trying to show you that the Bach, everyone argued on the Bach because they argued on the Bach saying that's being affected by the bishul process too much. That's being affected too much. But according to the Chazon Ish, the Bach missed the boat legamre. According to the Chazon Ish, it's already like that. Once you get hot already, you're already ois Kiddush Chaisa. Bishul mode, the way you learn Kipshuta, you learn there's a machlekes over here. How much does it have to get affected? It has to be really soft enough that you started the bishul process. That's when it's already no longer Kiddush Chaisa, or it's not been softened to that extent. But it has to be something. But just that it's hot. Okay, my heritage is that the Pashup Shad in the Mishnah Berurah is not like this. And l'chayra, it's l'chayra. Okay, that's l'chayra. Now, everybody's like, so what do you do? Because I'm basically taking away from you the heter of Kiddush Chaisa. So 1/8 is put a blech. Okay, but a bracket doesn't go so well because you don't have a blech. But you put a blech. How could you put a blech in a crack pot? We spoke about it. So you put a blech. If anybody has this shot, what's in the geya? It's a geya bachrim that go on a chleisnish, that go on a Shabbos. Or you go on a Shabbos, you go to the country. It could happen. You go to the country and you bring with you your crack pot. The country, like in America, they go to the mountain. That's how it goes. So they go to the country. You bring your crack pot. You bring your crack pot. You bring over there, and Baruch Hashem over there in the country, they have all like animals over there that you can shech them, and you can be very busy. You have Shabbos, you're going to shech, and you're going to have to with the malicha and everything it does. So you brought with you a crack pot and whatever. So now you look in the mountains, and there's no silver foil. And you forgot there's no silver foil, and you have nothing to put inside this crack pot, right? And the only paper you have in the mountains is real paper, and you can't put that in the crack pot. So, or newspaper, what are you going to put in the crack pot? It's not good. Okay, so now here he is. He's got only a crack pot. He's about an hour before Shabbos. What do I do? What do? That's a very serious shaila. So we got to give him Kidra Chaisa. I guess he has to swear on a Sefer Torah that he's not going to eat the Friday night. He's not going to have chalent. What? What's his? He's going to be? He's going to wait for what? Why is it? Why is it? No, let's see. Wait 1 second. So I'm saying the first thing is that you got to get this guy that Friday night you're not having challah, right? So that's already one part that I'm not so thrilled with because he usually does have challah on a Friday night. Okay. Second of all, it's got to be a matzav of where it's for sure not going to be ready by the mealtime. Okay, crackpot, it's not going to be ready by the mealtime. Okay, and then maybe I'll let him do it. Okay, so how does he do it? So I told you I'll be making like the sheet of the Mishnah Berurah. Now I'm calling it the Mishnah Berurah. No longer am I saying it's there's only one Mahalach, the Chazon Ish. Let's call it the sheet of the Mishnah Berurah. Let's say we'll blame Rabbi Sina B'Shoil. And what will he do? So the Mishnah Berurah says over and over here in Sivkat in Yud and Sivkat in Ayin Aleph, Mishnah Berurah says that he has to get it there by Shkia. He has time. He has time. What does it mean he has time? It means that you got to make sure that by Shkia, it's not going to start being cooked, right? So what do you have to do? So you got to be very close to Shkia over here, right? So about 20 minutes before, I said yesterday, he'll put in the freezing cold meat, he'll put in the beans, he'll put in all the whole chefra over there, and then he'll turn it on to low, and then by the time Shkia comes, what's going to be by the time Shkia comes? So it's certainly not going to be, maybe the Chazon Ish will have a problem. I said yesterday, even the Chazon Ish won't have a problem, but certainly the Mishnah Berurah doesn't have a problem, right? So everything is nifla ad moed. Everything's good, okay? So now what do you do like this? What do you do? Somebody tells you, right, that once got a shayla, that his crackpot is this is what he said, his crackpot is stupid. That's what he told me. It's not lashon hara on a crackpot. He told me the crackpot's stupid. I said, it wasn't me that's stupid. He said that the dial doesn't really work. Low, high, whatever. It doesn't work, right? That's it. What do you want? Stupid crackpot. Right? So he told me that this crackpot does what it wants. The crackpot is a mechutzif. This crackpot does what it wants, right? And now he wants to know in general. He was talking about some other shayla he had over there, whatever. So let's talk about this crackpot. And now, why am I concerned? Why am I concerned? Because now, I don't know, is anybody going to take a chayis that if you put it on high in 2 hours from now, it's not going to be ready for the meal? I don't know. If you put it on high, it won't be ready for the meal. The 2.5 hours, I have no idea. I don't know. Does anybody know? I don't know. Especially if a stupid cock. I don't know. Like that. I'm a little bit nervous. So to go and be saimach on Kidra Chaisa when there's a chance it's going to be ready for the meal now, even though he doesn't plan on having it for the meal, but that's the Bir Halacha told us. The Bir Halacha told us. And I would say it's even worse. Now there's like a real chance it'll be ready for the meal. So for sure might start monkeying with the stupid crackpot, right? You know? No, that, you know what he's saying? He's saying it doesn't work. You have to play with it, you have this, but once it goes on, you get it and you leave it, you know? Sometimes it'll be on the low, sometimes it'll be on the high. I know what he means. It's like when it clicks that way or whatever, right? So once it's on, it's on. But he might start monkeying with it because now there's a chance, right? So I'm very scared about this case. Okay, so then he ate some. Okay, so now let me tell you what it says in the Chazon Ish. Oh, Akov, before I tell you Chazon Ish, I want to tell you guys something that there's something here which I realized. Rabbi say, when a person makes early Shabbos, is early Shabbos an automatic? That's why you went away from me? Well, that's the reason. So, but now I'm going to talk about it, right? But when a person makes early Shabbos, this Maisa, is Kidra Chaisa checkmate on early Shabbos? Is early Shabbos an automatic stira to Kidra Chaisa? Let's try and figure this out. Think about it. When do you make early Shabbos? Let's say in Eretz Yisrael, plag is, what's plag these days? I don't know, let's say 6 o'clock or something. What is it? 6:20? 6:20? 6:15, okay, round number, okay? 6:15 is plag. So he's got to, and let's say, most people, even if you say the wife didn't makabel Shabbos yet, she's not oisik and chalent, you woke up late, you wanted to make early Shabbos, usually when you wake up late, you say, forget it, we'll make a late Shabbos. But now you have guests coming and everything. How do you know guests are coming? How do you know? Because they knock on the door. So we invited guests and we woke up late and this and that. So what do you do? But we didn't even make the cholent yet. So you fell asleep. So now it's 5:45 and you just throw the cholent, you throw the crackpot and you plug her in, right? And that's it. Now, wait a minute. Why did you do that? Because you're being saimach on my heter of Kidra Chaisa. Let's say you didn't put silver foil, you don't have the whole business. Okay, whatever. Okay. So now You're being saimach like Kiddush Chaisa because I told you a crackpot is nishkeferlich, and you're the type of people that on Friday night you don't eat cholent, and I told you you could be makel in that case. It's 5:45 now. 7:30 is Shkia. By 7:30 Shkia, is it going to be not affected at all? I hope not. I hope it'll be affected. If it's not affected, you have a broken crackpot, right? It's for sure going to be affected even if you put it on low. There's nothing to do with the chazanish. Even if it's going to be, on low, it's certainly going to be affected. It's going to be somewhat soft. It'll be 8% cooked. It'll be 12% cooked. I don't know. So l'chayra, whenever you make early Shabbos, we saw that the getter of Bishlama, if you would have learned that the getter of Kiddush Chais is totally in your Kabbalah. When you do a Kabbalah, that's when Kiddush Chaisa starts. And I could have even heard a logic to that, right? I put it in, then I make a Kabbalah, so now he's Mesiach Das, right? Because for him, he's not allowed to start monkeying around. But the Mishnah Berurah, what can I tell you? The Mishnah Berurah says not like that. The Mishnah Berurah says Shkia. Mishnah Berurah by us, if got in Yud. Mishnah Berurah knows that Jews are Makabel Shabbos before Shkia. How do I know? Because I have a sefer called the Mishnah Berurah, and he tells me I better be Makabel Shkia Shabbos before Shkia. So the same Mishnah Berurah, if got in Yud, if got in Ayin Aleph, the Mishnah Berurah tells me first to be Makabel Shabbos, you better be Makabel Shabbos 20 minutes ago. And then the Mishnah Berurah tells me, okay, but when you're Makabel Shabbos 20 minutes ago, you better make sure Kiddush Chaisa is still Kiddush Chaisa. You better make sure she's raw even by the time Shkia hits. So besides, the Mishnah Berurah just told me basically that if I'm going to make an early Shabbos, it's not Shayach Kiddush Chaisa. You know where I learned this from? The Shvitzas Shabbos. The Shvitzas Shabbos was written by a great Jew. He used to live over here in this neighborhood, and his name was Rabbi Meltzin, I think his name is, in Sivkot in Tezvav. Great Jew, one of the Talmidim of the Gra. Just a moment. He brings down that in Yerushalayim, hear this? In Yerushalayim, there's no more heter of Kiddush Chaisa. What's special about Yerushalayim? Yerushalayim's a lot of things, Rabbi say. Yerushalayim's Irish Loilam, Rabbi Samuels. But what's Yerushalayim special when it comes to Kiddush Chaisa? What does this have to do with the Fligelach of Rav Moshe, with the bones of the Shlomo Zalman? What says the Shvitzas Shabbos? No, because in Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh, he assumed everybody accepts Shabbos 40 minutes before. Hang, wink, wink. Everybody, especially in this neighborhood, everybody accepts Shabbos 40 minutes before everyone. Okay, so Mela, Shkia hits 40 minutes later. At 40 minutes later, for sure, it's going to be affected by the cooking process. Okay, I don't know what it'll be on a crackpot. I think even a crackpot, it's probably close, right? Probably, I don't know. But I learned from the Shvitzas Shabbos that if you're going to try to do the heter of Kiddush Chaisa on an early Shabbos, it's not going to work. No, does anybody have a way out of this? I don't see an eights on this. Come again? Yeah, no, so we have the Shabbos clock eights of Rabbi Gindu who's in hiding right now. But it's true. You have that eights. If you do a Shabbos clock eights, it's true. Sorry? So Kabbalah, see, but that stuff I'm going to talk about in one moment. But let's say you actually accept it. I'm just saying a practical case. Practical case, right? Person accepts early Shabbos. L'chayri doesn't have that to Kiddush Chaisa. Right? What? Come again? You should know. I'm sorry, Bishwali. You should know the Shlomo Zalman Taka says. I saw the Shlomo Zalman. Where did I say? So that I think I have to start writing notes on normal papers. Where'd she go? I think Shlomo Zalman. Oh, here it is. Shlomo Zalman Chelik Beis Siman Lamed Dois Tes. He says l'chayr it's all tali in Shkia and it's not tali in the Kabbalah, right? He says maybe. He says a svara. I didn't know what he meant. I'll tell you what I think he means. The Mishnah Berurah says what I just said, right? The Mishnah Berurah says shkia. Right? There's nothing discussed. But he says maybe it's because I think this is what he means. I'm explaining Rishon Sam. He says maybe we should be mischashiv with Baruch Hu. It's hard to read. I'll explain to you what I think he means. What I think he means is that in the time of the Mishnah Berurah, right, the way it worked was, Rabbi said, nobody waited till, I don't mean the Chassidim and the Shkia people waited to, far down the line, but the Chaver that were, whatever your Shkia is, it's not important right now, your second Shkia, the first Shkia, whatever, but the people didn't have watches and they didn't have, it wasn't as common, there was a wealthy guy in the neighborhood that had a watch, but the story is, I always tell you in Nevardik, that the Aruch HaShulchan, he came to Nevardik and he said, there's no mincha here after Shkia, that's it, by mincha Shabbos. And then they didn't listen to him. He brought 10 bachrim from the yeshiva. They made mincha, and he said good Shabbos on the way home to the Balabatim. They came in, they made a mincha. Next week, Aruch HaShulchan told them before, Rabbi said next week, mincha is, 10 minutes before Shkia. None of this, whatever. Okay, Kitzur, again, he sees the Balbatim, he waves at them, good Shabbos. The next week, Mincha, after Mincha, Damas locks the door. There's no minyan. A young Rav in Navardik, right? Straight from Petersburg. No minyan, right? And Aruch HaShulchan said, I saved the Balagolas from Navardik on being Michal Shabbos. Because in those days, there was no such thing. If you didn't have a mincha at a certain time, so then they needed to have a clear time. The clear time, you see, all through the Paiskim always was Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu was the clear time. So they would make Baruch Hu way earlier than us. It wasn't like nowadays that you have a half an hour break and then you have Baruch Hu and this and that because we have watches and times and whatever. There they had to have, it was clear. They didn't have, there wasn't watches all around and all these achin and whatever. So over there, in those days, Baruch Hu was the cutoff point. Baruch Hu was the time that, so they made sure Baruch Hu was early. And you see it all through the Paiskim, all over in Reish Samakim and Reish Samachalas. You always see that Baruch Hu is clearly early, and sometimes to be showing them talking about like 2 hours early and an hour early. The Zikr were making it early. Why am I telling you this? Because now, I don't know. I mean, I would have thought that's a Raya Brura that the Mishnah Brura is going to tell you that. So I'm telling you they made it earlier. Usually Baruch Hu is even earlier, right? So I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I think Rosh Zalman has a tzad here to maybe even argue on the Mishnah Berurah. He has a tzad to say that if there's a clear, I'll explain to you the problem. Rabbi say, if you're making early Shabbos and you're davening right now, so then why shouldn't the Hesach Hadas work, right? Bishlam, if you're making an early Shabbos and you're not davening right now, so then I understand that's not called. There's a proper Hesach Hadas. But Bishlam, if I'm davening now and I plan on eating within an hour, how's it work, right? You put up the cholent that you can eat within an hour, so then your cholent won't be ready for the meal. So then I understand there's a Hesach Hadas. But when it comes to I'm sorry, then I understand that there's a Hesach Hadas in that case. But Mashiach, if I put on a cholent, okay, and I just, I go to the shul to say shiurim or whatever, and the shul's at the regular time, right? So then, I'm arguing with the I don't understand what I'm talking. If we get there, B'shleim Zalman, I don't understand. The Mishnah Berurah says, first shkia. So I'm just telling you that the whole heter of Kidra Chaisa by an early Shabbos l'chayra is gone. Does anybody like to take issue with that? What is there, Mishmael? Oh. Come again? Yeah. You don't have to. Mishmael says you have to. Mishmael says a nice thing. You can do it 3 minutes before. I don't know. Why is it sure? As our case, the whole Kiddush Chaysa, I guess, was in a b'dachlik situation. So in this day, today, he was Makabel Shabbos 10 minutes earlier instead of 20 minutes earlier. Shiur says, Ashrei, happy is the person. Also happy is the person that has cholent. Right? Sorry? Yeah, but she said, Aruch HaShulchan says a short amount of time. Saying, but to be Yotzei Zayin, it's a short amount of time. But, everybody say, but then I thought of a shayla. Everyone's with me. There's a lot of like cheshbonalach over here that I'm not. It's not the way I usually give a share, but there's like all these things bother. Should I tell you a shayla I was thinking today as I was driving over? Right? No, mom just like hit me a different shayla today. So then, I just realized, how is it that? How's it work? Let's try and figure this out. How's it work? My wife lights candles. Okay. She lights candles, let's say 40 minutes before, let's say 20 minutes before, whatever your time she lights candles. I didn't Makabel Shabbos yet. I'm Makabel Shabbos yet. Okay, so now let's try and figure this out. So now I go and I put on food without a blech. Right? What did I put on? Let's see. Let's say, I have two cases here. Let's say, okay, let's do the other way. Let's do the early Shabbos case. Let's not ask a question. Let's try to figure out what's going on over here. Let's say it's an early Shabbos case. By early Shabbos case, I'm sorry. Let me figure it like this. Everybody say, it's not the worst problem. Go back to our case. You woke up 5 minutes before the guests knocked on the door. You realized, wait a minute, I wanted to make early Shabbos. So I'm telling you, you lost that the Kiddush Chaysa. So what are you supposed to answer me? Who cares? Why? Because I'll just get it to be Michael Ben Drusai of a third. If you're telling me I have to get to Shkia, so by Shkia I'll be able to get it to Michael Ben Drusai of a third. Okay, let's say that's the Mitzias. You'll be able to get it to Michael Ben Drusai of a third. Okay, that's it's not such a crazy case. You put up the cholent at 5 o'clock, and 7:30 it'll get there, even if it's on low, and I'll be saimich on the sheet at a third. Okay, Let's say that'll be the case. No? No. Wait, 1 second. I'm putting it on low and it'll get there. The case is, so we need to know what was it at Shkia, right? So at Shkia, it'll be a third. Was I over on anything? Lefida Ramah, we could be Mako. Good, clear? So it's not so bad, okay? Again, I confused you because I was about to ask you my question. Before my question, Rabbi Levin, what am I going to do tachlis in that case? I woke up at 5 o'clock, I'll put on the cholent, and what's the problem? By the time Shkia comes, it's going to be a third cooked. If by the time Shkia comes, it'll be a third cooked. So then I'm in business. Why am I in business? Because it'll be a third cooked, and then I don't have a problem with the effort anyways. I'll be saying on those shitas of a third cook, which I told you today. I prefer those shitas over kitru chaysa because kitru chaysa is becoming very stressful for me. Okay? Now watch. Wait a minute. I just realized I have a big problem. So wait a minute. So now my wife puts the cholent on. She puts the cholent on. Okay? So now wait a minute. I was Makabel Shabbos, right? How does this work exactly? I was Makabel Shabbos. So how does it work? If I'm Makabel Shabbos right now, and there's it's official if somebody wasn't Makabel Shabbos, but I was Makabel Shabbos right now, there's a cholent going in my house. And there's no blech. How does that work? Why don't I have a problem right now? What? No, I understand Shkia, but Shkia is only if I wasn't Makabel Shabbos. If I was Makabel Shabbos, let's say it's a Kabbalah's Tzibur or something, right? What? Who cares if not Teresa? So there's no Shema Yichata on is this a true statement? I mean, it has to be true. Think about it a second. My wife every Friday night, what does she do? She's Makabel Shabbos, right? Okay, can I go now and let's just think. Are we allowed to do this? Am I allowed to put this kitru chaysa? We realized we didn't plug in the cholent, and my wife is Makabel Shabbos. So can I just go and plug in the cholent and be saimach on kitru chaysa? Right? So no, that case isn't going to work because then it's kitru chaysa anyway, so it's not a problem because kitru chaysa, that won't be a good case. This is what happens when you have shilas when you drive. All right, so take the. So if I take the shaila, how's this work? What? Let me think about what my case. When I was driving, I think what bothered me is that if I accept Shabbos, then my wife has to stop cooking right then. Right? Right, because once it's going to get parched. No, I'm not. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're all tricking me. No, wait. Rabbi say, you're all tricking me. No. Rabbi say, if I put on a cholent right now, no, I'm tricking myself. What? Do I have a case? What's the case? What? I put a cholent without a blech. It'll be Michael. So the early Shabbos case, basically. Okay, the early Shabbos case, fine. So in that case, fine. Let's go back to that case. I'm going to have it. It's going to be Michael ben Yusai. It'll be a third cook by the time the Shabbos comes in. Okay, but by Shkia. But Maisa, right now, I was already Makabel Shabbos. I was Makabel Shabbos. My wife was Makabel Shabbos. We were all Makabel Shabbos. Right? So why is that not a problem? But who says it's not? Because I was Makabel Shabbos. So it comes out a problem. I was saying Shkia is when there was no Kabbalah. Now, Vadi, you have to stop doing Malacha, but it means you didn't actually be Makabel Shabbos. Yeah. So I don't have a case. I'm going to have a big problem. So basically, Tachlis, what am I going to do when I want to make early Shabbos? To do Kidru Chaysa, I'm going to have a big problem, right? Because to do Kidru Chaysa, to put it on now raw, right before my Kabbalah, that doesn't help. We need to know, was it raw by Shkia? Just a moment. We need to know it was raw by Shkia, says Mishpura. Okay. Now, Elamai, you'll say, fine, but by Shkia, it'll be a third cooked. So, but now I have another problem because in the middle of Ben Hashmashis, in the middle of the Plagsman, when I was Makabel Shabbos, I was already Makabel Shabbos. Once I was Makabel Shabbos, how could I have on my fire a cholent which is started to cook, which is not yet a third? Chayr should be a problem. No, Chayr. Am I being Mabal with the guys that are watching on TV? You guys are with me or no? No? With me? Give me thumbs up if you're with me because I can't see. Yeah, okay. There are buttons you can press and then it comes up to very good. Okay, so Tachlis, let's go fight there. But now I'm going to give you a heter and then I'm going to tell you I have a problem with the heter. It's a tough day in the office. Tomorrow, hopefully, it'll be easier. Rabbi say, I have a great heter I have a great heter. Tachlis, where are we holding? Okay, there's a Jew who comes, it's right before Shkia. He wants to have, let's say, chicken on Friday night. He wants to have chicken on Friday night. And I just told you, you don't have a heter of kidra chaysa in our ovens. Okay, that's for sure clear. Okay, so what's he going to do? What's he going to do? He wakes up 20 minutes early. 20 minutes, he's got 20 minutes to put in a piece of chicken. What's he going to do? By the time Shkia hits, it's definitely not going to be a third cooked. What does he do? So now I'm going to tell you a savior, a world's pashut savior, a world savior. You know what the answer is? There's a heter called Ein Shvusim and Benishmashes, right? On Benishmashes, there's a heter of, right? There's a heter Shvusim on Benishmashes. You all know there's such a thing, right? Benishmashes, what's the din on Benishmashes? On Benishmashes, like Gazru Shvusim, Benishmashes. Now, it doesn't mean all the Rabbanans, but Chazal were not Gazru Shvusim on Benishmashes. Now, where does that mean? What? Oh, I could just do all the Rabbanans. No. See, look in the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Reish Samach Aleph and in Siman Shin Mem Beis, and it says first on Shin Mem Beis that if a person has a mitzvah or a shasat chak, he has a mitzvah or a shasat chak, matirin, where is she? Kol dvarim shasurim medivrei seifrim. It is an iser d'Rabbanan. And I say shemichat is an iser d'Rabbanan or iser d'Oraisa. I'll give you a hint. To be machat is d'Oraisa. So what's shemichat? D'Rabbanan, very good. So the Isser of Shemi Chata, the whole Isser of Shia is D'Rabbanan. Says the Shulchan Aruch, called varm that are Asr Midrabbanan, like Shemi Chata, like Shia, Loi Gazru Benishmashes. Says the Shulchan Aruch, V'hu Shehu Shem Davar Mitzvah Oidoichek. It has to be a Davar Mitzvah Oidoichek. It has to be a difficult situation. It's not just stand that we make all the D'Rabbanan. You move books of Benishmashes, you do all the D'Rabbanan. No, it means it's a big size. No. Kinderlach, what's an example? Or if you're Torrid or Nechbas, I ask you, he's not going to have hot chicken for Friday night. Could you think of a bigger case in the world of like Gazru Shvus Benishmashes? This is the example of Chazal. Ad Kedei Kach, the Bir Halacha over here, on the bottom, the Bir Halacha here says, and not only that, it's got to be a Tzarech Shabbos, or right? Even though it's something you could do without. It'll increase his pleasure on Shabbos. Mutter, the chashiv tzarech mitzvah, Rabbi said, before I go weiter, chicken on Friday night. Okay, a guy that woke up 20 minutes before Shkia, he realized he doesn't have chicken for Friday night, whatever the case is. Right? I'm telling you, Reb Jew, you don't have a heter of kidra chaysa. Sorry. And you don't have a heter of a blech in an oven. Sorry, sir. Okay. So now he tells me, what am I supposed to do? I need to have chicken. It's like, I'm not cooking chicken on a blech. It's not negay, he tells me. I don't know. Okay. I tell him, okay, well, what do you want? Could you have it cooked about a third? He says, it's 20 minutes before Shabbos. I'm surprised the Rav even answered the phone, he tells me. Right? 20 minutes before Shabbos. What do you want from me? I can't have it a third cooked by then. So what am I going to tell him? I'm going to tell him, is this going to increase your pleasure on Shabbos? Yes, sir. Yes. Is it something that's going to, that you feel your nechbaz and boil? Yes, sir. As you hear in the background, his wife crying, right? Yes, sir. Right? And so you know what? So now I'm going to tell him, so there's something called like Gazru Shvusim Ben Hashmashes. They weren't geyser on the Shvusim Ben Hashmashes. So what's this? So you're going to have it go, could you have this thing cooked by, I'll tell you a time in a moment, but do you think that it could be cooked by about 35 minutes from now? A third cooked? Third cooked. It could be cooked. Simple. What are you starting with me? A third cooked in 35 minutes? Yeah. I could have this cooked in 30. I'll tell them, my tremendous koyach hakul over here, right? Give a couple of dollars to the koilel, and I can be mekel. As long as you tell me she'll be cooked by a third cooked by about 15 minutes after Shkia. I'll see exactly why I said that number in a moment. But if you tell me that, so now I'm going to say, Legazru Shvusim, now don't get confused. He's not cooking it on Friday at Ben Hashmashes. He's just not taking it off the fire. And he's allowing the matziv to continue. What isser is he being over on by allowing the food to be cooking during Ben Hashmashes? What isser? Shehiyah. Shehiyah, so that's a D'Rabbanan. Like Gazru Shvusim Ben Hashmashes in a situation where it's talchik. Hey, you love that? Hey, you love that? The guy's on TV? Don't give me hours now. First tell me if you love it. You love it? Well, maybe this isn't included. What do you mean this isn't included? Who are you? Chacham Victor hiding away over there in Bidud. He did extra Bidud over here. He does like Tosefes Bidud, Rabbeinu Tam Bidud over here. You love it? Rabbi Strom loves it. Everybody loves it. But Danziger, I didn't get a thumbs up from you, right? You love it? It's a kula. Gareth loves it. Gil Mayer, thank you. Dilby loves it. Everybody loves it. You guys love it? You guys don't have those buttons you can press to say the thumbs up. So you love it? Am I fine, or is it good to come back just for that kula? And you know what else? I think that is it not what a wonderful kula or not? Does everybody find it to be a wonderful kula? It's a gewaltige kula. Now, where did I come up with the number of about 15 minutes after Shkia? So that you all know that there's a big world war. When exactly is Ben Hashmashis today? That's a world war. Now, there is a Goyin of Moshe. I think it was in, I wrote it down. 1 second, where's Rav Moshe? 1 second, Rav Moshe is in hiding. Oh, there she is. Chelik Dalid, Siman Samach Beis. Okay. Now, I think the Chazayin Ish in Lamed Zayin Chav Zayin is saying what I said. And the only reason I didn't start with the Chazayin Ish, meaning I didn't bring it to say the Chazayin Ish says this, is because when you look inside the Chazayin Ish, what I said is very simple. It's very simple. It's just a regular heter of Shus and Ben Hashmashis. I didn't say any magic. It's very simple. The Chazayin Ish is a cheshbon here, which it sounds like he's saying a chiddush within Shehiyah. I'm not 100% sure of what I'm saying to Chazayin Ish, but the Rayon, we're saying the same halacha. The Chazayin Ish also says, I said also like the Chazayin Ish, I just don't know if I'm saying the same reason, but what I'm saying is a very simple cheshbon. Pashit, tachlis, could you get it a third cooked by the time? So now you're going to ask me, then whenever is there a case of an Isser of Shia? No, is that such a kasha? The case is Chazal are telling you to get your act together, not let it come to this, right? But it doesn't sound so much like that. It sounds like a lot of times when the Shabur says it's usher to leave it on the fire, why doesn't he say it? No, then you'll at that point have the heter of Shvus and Ben Hashmashis. No? Was? Oh, what? Oh, so maybe the case will be like this. The case will be that I keep telling you everything is Tali and Shkia. Okay, that's for sure true. Klape the Isser Shia. But if I say when you do a Kabbalah Sibur, listen closely. When you do a Kabbalah Sibur, you no longer have the heter of Shvusim Ben Hashmashis. So now we have to tell this guy like this. We have to tell him, listen, could you have this chicken cooked in the next 35 minutes to a third? He says, yeah. I tell him, okay, so you have the heter Shvusim Ben Hashmashis. He says, oh, Gevaldik, now I can go to shul in peace and everything. I tell him, right? He goes, but I tell him, don't say the words Hareini Makabel Shabbos. Don't do malacha after Shkia. Don't do the malacha after Shkia. Chalila, you're not allowed to do malacha, and you have to be purish for malacha a couple of minutes ahead of time also, for sure, right? But don't say the words I'm Makabel Shabbos. Why not? Because if you're going to say the words I'm Makabel Shabbos, you lost the heter of Shvusim Ben Hashmashis. The whole heter says the way he learns it over there, Ayin Sham, is that you only have a heter of Shvusim Ben Hashmashis if you weren't Makabel Shabbos. But if you were Makabel Shabbos, so then you're not. So now let's go back. Now, so first of all, that's why over here it's not so schwer. Like I mentioned before, once they would say Baruch Hu early and whatever. So Shehiyah was usher. Okay. So now you're going to tell me. So where does 15 minutes come from? So I'll tell you, when did the normal shuls over here, I'm talking about in Yerushalayim, I think it's in Chutzai. When did the normal shuls get be'erech to Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos? Be'erech, is it fair to say about 15 minutes? Is it fair? But if you're the guy that says 18 or what time be'erech? What? You dealing with the guys of the neighbors over here. I'm dealing with into the mansion. No, I'm saying, but a lot of the shuls. My shul, Rabbi Shalom Yankiv, your shul. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the shuls over here. What time did they get to Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos? I'll ask her by Tersh, because come on. What time? What? Punkt in my shul, I speak. So Mamela, it's a little bit earlier, Agrada, because when there's a speech, so then they make the mincha a few minutes earlier. But I think the normal shuls is about 15 minutes, no? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. So whatever is your shul, that's the halacha. The halacha is the Kabbalah of your tzibur is goyre you, and it's mechayev you. So when do you guys get there? So don't say Hareini Makabel Shabbos. And when they'll get to Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos, so then at that point, you're nechlal in the Kabbalah of the tzibur, and you lost the shvusim of Ben Hashmashis. And even if he tells me, okay, I just won't go to shul, and then I'll get an extra 20 minutes or something, I'll tell him it doesn't work like that because you're nigrer to your tzibur. You get schlepped with the tzibur, okay? I say, that's my wonderful heter. I told you, I don't know if the Chazayin Ish is saying this or not, but that's my wonderful heter. Does anybody have a problem with this? It's mamish. It's such a beautiful cheshbon, you can't even argue on it, no? Does anybody can argue on such a cheshbon? Just be careful, because if you argue, I'll throw you out of here. But I'm saying it's a beautiful cheshbon. Just one more second. And let's say let's say you're in the middle of Yehupitzville. Yeah? Where's Yehupitzville? You go to the middle of nowhere and you turn left, right? Yehupitzville. And over there, there's no minion. There's no minion, right? Or let's say it's a case of corona, right? And you don't have a minion. You don't have a minion. So there's no tzibur that's being goyru you. So now he calls me up and says, yeah, I just woke up. I don't have a minion anyways. How much time do I have? I thought, well, you got to stop doing malacha. I said, no, I'm going to stop doing malacha, but I'm just not going to be Makabel Shabbos, which that's, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. So I want to know how much time do I have on the shvusim of Ben Hashmashis, Heter shvusim Ben Hashmashis. So I'm going to tell him where you're calling from. Because I told you Yehupitzville, but now he's not calling from Yehupitzville because Itaka is in Corona, so it doesn't even have a minion, which Lepsach, right? So now he tells me, I'm in America. I tell you in America, so I tell him, in America it's okay because there's a tshuva from Ramosha in Chelek Dalit, in Simon Samach Beis, Dachsich was in your day even, and Ramosha says over there, he says, maybe it's Erichan, but he says, you know what? Since there's Rabbeinu Tam and he holds, I hold, says Ramosha, I hold Rabbeinu Tam is not 72 minutes anymore. I hold it's totally in the way things look and whatever. I hold that Rabbeinu Tam in New York, I hold is Ramosha in one place says 50 minutes. In another place, Ramosha says 40 minutes. Okay? So says Ramosha. So beside, what's the Ben Hashmashis of Rabbeinu Tam? It's in comparison. You do 16 over 3, and whoever doesn't know what I'm talking about and doesn't like math, and so then it's okay. So, and you get about 9-10 minutes is Ben Hashmashis. So Be'erech, it's between either 30 and 40 minutes after Shkia, or 40 and 50 minutes after Shkia. Okay? It's between 30 and 40 minutes after Shkia, or 40 and 50 minutes after Shkia. So let's just be machmir and say between 30 and 40 minutes after Shkia. So Rav Moshe, the great Goyin, has a cheshbon. He says, you have to, in order to get the Heter Shvus and Ben Hashmashis, you have to have a time that's at least a Vaday Yoim to Rabbeinu Tam, because you can't do this. According to Rabbeinu, if you have a time when according to Rabbeinu Tam, it's even a Safek, and according to the Goyin, it's Vaday Laila, that's already pushing it. So what's that time? Says Rav Moshe, you have a Heter of Shvusim, Ben Hashmashis, until, I'll call it 30 minutes or until 40 minutes, okay? Everyone's with me? It's a very simple cheshbon. I'll say it very quickly again, but it's very simple. There's a question, what is called Rabbeinu Tam today? Rav Moshe says in New York, it's either 50 minutes or 40 minutes. Shaila and Rav Moshe. Okay? Now, that means the Ben Hashmashis is either 30 minutes to 40 after Shkia or 40 to 50 after Shkia. Okay? Now, Rav Moshe says, I'm not going to give you the heter of the shvusim of Ben Hashmashis in a time that the Vilna Goyim would say you don't have it, and that even Rabbeinu Tam is going to say it's only a suffix and it's not Vaday Yoim. But if you have a time where it hasn't yet achieved Vaday, a suffix Laila, according to Rabbeinu Tam, which is until 30 minutes or until 40 minutes, I'm going to give you the heter of shvusim Ben Hashmashis. So if this Jew comes in, he says to me, Kallus, I don't have a minion, so tell me, how long do I have? Because it's meat, it takes a little longer. How long? So I'll tell him, I'll be meko if it's a third cooked by the time that 30 minutes after Shkia comes, because he doesn't have a Kabbalah Satziber, so then it's Shalom Al Yisrael. So does everybody love what I said today or not? Is there anybody, speak now for every other piece, is there anybody, have a dancer, you're upset about something? He's got a problem with his fingers going like this. Is everything okay? There's things they do about that. They have splints. Right? I have a splint, you can put it on a splint. Have a dancer. We didn't say this by Amir Lakom, what's he doing to me? But we were more mako by Amir Lakom. We're more mako by Amir Lakom, because by Amir Lakom, there's bigger Atayrim by Yeshua and Ben Hashmashis. Which Bruce says they weren't Geyser Bechlal on Amir Lakom. Should be arrested. All right? Should be arrested. Was? No. By Amir Lakom, it's a special kula of Amir Lakom. The Chazal weren't Geyser Amir Lakom in situation. I don't want to go into it, but the Mishabura says me first that Amir Lakom is different. Okay? So now we're good. Rabbi Dan's good. Good? Are you just scared or are your fingers fixed? Okay, his fingers fell back. Okay. Now, by side. What? Come again? Now, let's say, I'm sorry, just one moment of 11, because I see I'm being asked this 4 times over here. What if you're mamish, you're mamish chassidish, your wife shaves her head, you shave your head, or what else makes you chassidish? You have Weiße Zaken, and if the guy is sitting here going, what are Weiße Zaken? So then you're not that, you mamish chasidish. So then I don't know if you mamish hold the Rabbeinu Tam, then fine. Then your head to shvusim goes later, or let's say the other way around, right? Let's say the other way around, like your wife mamish so never shave her head and whatever. As much as you tried, it doesn't work. So now, and you hold of the goyin out of safe, out of safe, you hold like the goyin, okay? So then that's okay. So then you don't have the kulam saying. You'll probably have till about 13 and a half minutes afterward, or whatever. I'm talking about a person like the rest of us that he doesn't have a klor mahalech exactly, right? You hold her a bit of time, you hold the. So then this would be the cheshbon. In Eretz Yisrael, it's a little bit more provocative because in Eretz Yisrael, it causes a little bit more fighting, because in Eretz Yisrael, first of all, you don't have 40 minutes, 50 minutes, like Rav Moshe said. It's probably a little earlier. So maybe the number will be, I'll give you till about 20 minutes after Shkia in Eretz Yisrael. Okay? If it's a yard site, whose yard site? It sounds a yard site, no? Chef Chaim, that's his name. Chef Chaim, what? Okay, so it sounds a yard site. I'll give you till 20 minutes after Shkia in Eretz Yisrael. Sounds it would have given you till the 170. So I'll give you 20 minutes after Shkia because I'm in a shtickle good mood, whatever, right? L'chaim. So is that crystal clear? Is there anybody that can argue on the Cheshbon 11? Now you're clear? Yeah? Was? But Amir Lakum is a special header of the Shvus and Ben Hashmashes. I prefer not to go into it now because it's a separate sugya, but it doesn't have anything to do with our sugya. It's a complicated sugya of Shvus and Ben Hashmashes. Is that? Oh yeah, I opened right to it. Samach base. It was in Ur Chaim Chelik Dal Samach base. The Ben Hashmashes true for Moshe. Okay, but that's not what I'm looking at now. Okay, is there anybody that can argue? You want to argue, or this is your chance? Let's not talk about Amir Lakim. It's not. What? Let's not talk about Amir Lakim. It's a separate sugya. I don't want to go into Amir Lakim. Not everybody here learned Amir Lakim. But what's enough? What's a child? I'm saying you're saying that. I don't know if that's muchach, but that's in the sugya of Shvus and Ben. It's barer. That much for sure. I could take from the Chazon Ish. I could steal one thing. I told you it could be the Chazon Ish is saying exactly what I'm saying. I'm not. I just don't want to blame the Chazon Ish if I'm making a mistake. You're about to hear I might be making a mistake. Right? I just made a beautiful cheshbon. I can get the Nobel Peace Prize for this. Don't remember how we started today. This person came in, he was crying. Remember, he was crying. It's 20 minutes before Shkia. I took away the oven from this person. I told him there's no etter of Kiddush Chaisa for you. And now he's crying. He's crying. And he says, what am I going to do? I don't have Kiddush Chaisa. There's not going to be chicken on Friday night. And you tell him, I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for this, Rabbi Isai. He tells me, but if you give me 15 minutes after Shkia, I won't accept it with the tzibers until 15. I won't accept it by myself. I have the head of Shus and Ben Hashmashes, right? Is everybody's with me? So that much I can for sure steal from the Chazon Ish. He says, Mefurish, that we do have the head here of Shus and Ben Hashmashes on the Shema Yechata. You might have heard the opposite. He wants to say the opposite here, but he wants to say, you might have heard that maybe it's worse. He says, maybe Shema Yechata is a very chomertic gzeira, as we're going to see, Klape Shoigeg and Klape B'di'evet. Chazal were very machmer when it came to Shema Yechata, okay? But the Chazon Ish is not like that. So Tachlis Geret. That's correct. Okay, now I don't have time. I'm just going to read you the Shiur, and then I guess I'll answer it tomorrow. If I could answer, I don't know if I will. Right? No, it's too late. I'm sorry. Rabbi say, it comes out, this is a Gvaldike Eitzah. You have the Shvusim, had the Shvusim Ben Hashmashes, and where is the case ever of the Isser of Shehiyah? The Teretz is Pashit, in a case where he was Makabel Shabbos, or the Kabbalah of the Tzibur. Very simple. What? Or let's say you have a food, the taka, it won't be 1/3 cooked. Thank you, Rabbi Cooper, right? Let's say I have a case of a food that will not be cooked by the time. No, the only thing I'm coming on fuke is that Shiur says it's got to be by Shkia. He says, tell the guy, give him a few more minutes. Shiur said Shkia, tell the guy he has a few more minutes for the head to Shvus and Ben Hashmashes. So the answer is that either because he was makabel, or like Rabbi Cooper saying, it's a case of where it's not going to get even to 1/3 cooked by the time that Shkia, by the time 15 minutes comes, or there's a kabbalah tzibur, whatever it is. Is it crystal clear? By say, Rabbi Spitzer, is crystal clear or not? So then I'm going to read you Rav Moshe, and then we'll stop the shiur. Now listen to Rav Moshe. And not only that, this is the first tshuva in those tshuvas from Reb Shimon Eider. All the tshuvas we mentioned, the whole zman, these tshuvas, The first tshuva in Chelik Daled, Ayin Daled. The first tshuva, if you get it wrong in the first tshuva, if I get it wrong, I'm saying if I'm against Reb Moshe in the first tshuva, so then the mamish, and we've mentioned these tshuvas so many times. Reb Moshe says like this, they asked him a question. It says, Kosav HaMechaber, that besavik chashecha, you're allowed to be timed in by. You're allowed to be timed in. Timed in is not just timed in. Timed in means shahiyah and all these things, right? This is what you read every Friday night. Kegavna, right? This is what you read every Friday night. That during Ben Hashmashes, this is the Makor. Loi gazru the shlusim Ben Hashmashes. What's the example? Hatmana Shia. They all put them together. That's what the Chazon Ish says. Hatmana Shia. So you're allowed to do basically shahiyah on Ben Hashmashes. Okay. Mefresh, right? So the Shayel, Rabbi Eider, he asked him, Ad Mosai. Ad Mosai. Until when do you have this heter of doing Mamish, everything we spoke about today in the Shiur. So we're about to hear. Until when do you have the heter of doing Shehiyah on Erev Shabbos, on Ben Hashmashes, right? So what should be the answer? You heard a whole Shiur on this, Rabbi Dakin. The answer is until you're makabel with a tzibur. The answer is go and look in what I wrote 20 chuvas ago about if you weren't makabel Shabbos, so then 30 minutes. Till 30 minutes or maybe till 40 minutes or whatever. It's a time that's not night according to Rabbeinu Tam, and according to the Goyim it is night, but it's not at all night, it's Vadai day, whatever, the whole cheshbon. He should write over here, the answer is till 30 or 40 minutes or until you're Makabel Shabbos, until 15 minutes after when the normal shul's are Makabel Shabbos, whatever your shul does, okay? Says Ramesha, Ein Nageya Ladina. It's not Nageya. Your Shiloh is Pasha not Nageya. Only ask things, please, that are Nageya. It's not Nageya. Because who puts up the challenge? Who's putting on this chicken? Your wife. So she was Makabel Shabbos with the Lokas Neres. Okay, so she's Makabel Shabbos, and she for sure can't. Okay? She for sure can't, right? That was what we asked before. She's Makabel Shabbos. I'm the one putting in the chicken. How's that work? I put in the chicken. Now we really do have our issue. Okay, this is what I was thinking when I was driving. I put in the chicken, the feed heter that I built. I put in the chicken, but my wife is Makabel Shabbos. Right? So how's that work? She's being over on Shia every single second, no? There's a chicken in the house. She put it on, but there's a chicken cooking in the house. Back. What? Sorry? I'm saying that's also kasha. I don't know. No, it's taka pella. My heter is the pella taka. But that's not what Ramesh is bothered by. But my heter is the pella, no? You put the chicken on, right? So I put the chicken on. And I'm using the heter of Shus and Ben Hashmashes, and I'm not being Makabel Shabbos. Okay, so I'll stop and ask a question. Forget Ramesh. I just went off track for a minute. But how in the world is it not a problem for my wife? She was Makabel Shabbos. What's the answer of Ben Hashmashes? The answer of Ben Hashmashes is a matziv. Why shouldn't my wife have to go and like knock it off with her elbow or something? No, it's a pella. I don't know. What's the answer? I guess. Well, once there's one person in the house, Isaac, in the visual process, how does it work? It's a tucker pella. Okay, I don't know. It's a baya. Everyone understand my kasha? You understand my question? My wife was Makabel Shabbos. So then my ganze heter, how does it help for my wife? How does it help for my wife? No? It's a pella. I don't know. So he's saying, well, so Kallus, you're wrong. Well, is it pella? You're wrong. No? But the Chazon Ish says like that also. He's talking about a case where what? The women didn't like candles? The heter of Shus and Ben Hashmashes and what? The woman didn't like candles? That's the case we're talking about? Okay, I don't know. But so anyways, Sir Moshe says, your whole entire shiloh is not negay. You know why? Because who's going to put this chicken on? Your wife? She can't because she was Makabel Shabbos. They're Makabel Shabbos. And after Kabbalah Shabbos, first in Reish Samachalf ain't toimin. Vim is damin ish. Elamai a man. So the man wasn't Makabel Shabbos, like Kibbutz Shabbos. Why? What's the case that he wasn't Makabel Shabbos? Shaloi Omar Mismer Shiur. Okay? So he says, so what's the case? The case is Ad Chatzi Shoach Ashkia. Until Chatzi Shoach after Shkia. Right? So it's great. I was Makavin to Moshe. Mamish good. I should make a party. As Makavin to Moshe. Moshe says that you know what the answer is? Ad Chatzi Shoach after Shkia. Why Chatzi Shoach? Like I told you before. Because he says, because and this is what I told you, that Ramesh over here is going, that Rabbeinu Tam is 40 minutes after Shkia. So therefore, what's the Ben Hashmashes of Rabbeinu Tam? Between 30 and 40 minutes. And that was the cheshbon that we spoke about, that Ramesh said, that if between 30 and 40 minutes, it's already suffix, even according to Rabbeinu Tam, so that I'm not going to give you, because mamish gevaldik. So therefore, the answer is that you can put your chicken on until 30 minutes after Shkia. Good, Gavaldik, I was Makabin to Rav Moshe. We should make a party, we should all dance. But, Derech Agav, and now you have the kasha on Rav Moshe, right? But my wife was Makabel Shabbos. That's Stamapella. My wife, she was Litat Lukas Neris. So my wife should have to start screaming. There's a matzav of Shehi in the house. There's a matzav of Shehi in the house. I don't know the answer to that kasha. That kasha is one. Moshe doesn't ask that kasha. Moshe goes on and he says like this. He says, that I can. If I stop the shiur here, I would be Yaitse my chiyuv of teaching you Torah. That's it. But then Ramosha goes on and he says, but aval kimat leika benimsa shaila kazu. The whole shaila is not negaya. It's not negaya. You have to ask shailas negaya. Why? Ki hakol mekablim Shabbos before shkia. Hakol mekablim Shabbos before shkia. What does it mean? Hakol mekablim Shabbos before shkia. That was the whole shiur I gave you. That's not true. That's not true. What does it mean? It means hakol avad they have to not do malacha before shkia. I have to be right, Rabbi say, because otherwise there's no heter of shvus and ben hashmashes. There has to be a case of shvus and heter ben hashmashes. So Rabbi says it's not negay. You know why? Because everyone's makabel Shabbos first. Wait, I'll ask you like this: who should I put on the spot? No, who should I bother? Who should I bother? DJ, where are you? DJ, did you this Friday night before Shabbos say Hareini makabel Shabbos before Shkia? Say the emes. Say the emes, DJ. Don't remember. Erwin. Did you say Hareini makabel Shabbos? Let's attack some of the TV guys. No, Rabbi Danziger started up with me today. No, Rabbi Danziger, did you say right before Shkia Hareini makabel Shabbos? Right, Danziger. He was in the shower. He said, "Pass me the rubber ducky." What are you talking about? Right, Hareini makabel Shabbos. Who says Hareini makabel Shabbos? Tell him I Rav Moshe. Nah, I'm asking him. It's a big milah. Don't get me wrong. It's a mitzvah. It's a chashav v'zach. I'm not saying right. Yeah. Rabbi Zinger, it was supposed to be zogt. Yeah. What did he say 2 minutes before Shkia? You know what he said? Right? Yeah, 2 minutes before Shkia was a gizot. Yeah? You don't think I know? No, that's Shkia. Right? So I'm not saying it's a wonderful mitzvah. But then what's Rav Moshe talking about? It's not negaya. Of course it's negaya. I just told you the case of negaya. This is Sarchi and Gadol. The Sarchi and Gadol. So I don't know. I do see from Rav Moshe that he was nachas to the ganze hefter that we're saying. Elamai, maybe Rav Moshe says, maybe Rav Moshe Kol Yamai, Rav Moshe was gadol in the yeshivas and MTJ and whatever, and I guess they were accepted Shabbos. You know, the yeshivas take David before Shkia, so they take say Mizmor Shir before Shkia, right? But who else does? Nazi, you don't think I'm going to attack you? Nazi, what were you doing 2 minutes before Shkia? Did you say Hareini Mekabel Shabbos? You, Hareini Mekabel Thursday, right? 2 minutes before Shkia. While you were combing your strimel, what you were doing, what? He was actually davening mincha, right? He was actually davening mincha of Tuesday. Yeah. So Rabbi Sai will continue tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow I'll make it easier. Rabbi Sai, whoever doesn't know, today you have to bring in your Shmir Sastarim papers tomorrow because you're supposed to bring it in already. So please bring it in. Thank you. Thank you very much.